Dr. Follow-up segment tonight, the continuing saga of the former National Security Advisor, Susan Rice. As you may know, Fox News, along with Bloomberg, is reporting that Ms. Rice actively sought classified information for about a year. And some of that involved Trump campaign staff and transition people caught on wiretaps involving foreign nationals. Join us from Los Angeles, FoxNews.com investigative reporter Malia Zimmerman. So what do you have for us tonight that's new, Malia?
Hi, Bill. One of the stories that we've been working on is what you brought up with Newt Gingrich, which is stonewalling. We understand from the House and Senate Intelligence Committees that there's been stonewalling by the U.S. intelligence agencies that are supposed to provide information. And that would include, for example, the NSA. That would include the FBI. And as you recall, they had an open hearing in the House with the Intelligence Committee, and James Comey and Admiral Rogers came to talk with the House Intelligence Committee members, and that was a public hearing. But during that hearing, there were 100 questions that weren't answered, and they were supposed to come back into private session, and that was never done.
Okay, they didn't show up. I remember that. Now, when you say stonewalling, what form did the questioning from the House Intel Committee and the Senate Intel Committee, they didn't subpoena documents yet, did they?
Well, what they did was they asked these questions during the hearing, and when they weren't able to answer them publicly because they said it was, classified or they couldn't reveal that information, they said they would come back and have a private hearing with the House. And also, you remember Representative Nunes had uncovered that information from his review of in the White House executive office of those documents. And he wanted to review those with them in private. And, there's been, from what we were told, all kinds of excuses as to why James Comey hasn't come back, and really no response on several of the questions. Okay.
Now, Congress goes on their Easter break. That means this is going to be put off probably till late April, early May. But I think they may have to subpoena things, and they should. Shouldn't they at this point? Because that's how you get information. You issue subpoenas to the FBI and to the NSA and say, look, we need to know, as Speaker of the House was just mentioning, how many people were unmasked, how many times Susan Rice walked in and asked for information. They have to give that up under subpoena, do they not?
They would, and also you would want them to ask for the logs. There's a paper trail, a very extensive paper trail from what I'm told, in terms of what Susan Rice asked for and other people in the administration asked for and how it was given to them, and in terms of the unmasking. And so they have to get those logs. That's a key part of it to see.
Okay, when you say logs,
who exactly was
means,
unmasked.
Okay, so physically, Susan Rice goes to the FBI building or to the NSA building and checks in and then makes a request for certain information. She has to make the request so that they can bring it to her, correct?
Right.
Does she have to do that request in writing or verbally?
I'm not sure about how that works.
Okay.
I would imagine
Find that out for us,
there's
okay.
in writing.
So she has to make it.
will.
She has to make it either in writing or verbally. I want to see this, all right, that she's gotten a heads up on from somebody. And then they write that request down. That's what you're talking about. There's a log where the FBI employee involved, the NSA employee involved, okay, on this date, Susan Rice asked to see this information. That has to be written down, correct?
Correct. And every time they go into the system, from what I'm told, there's a log, there's a record of that. And so that would provide the date, the document, what it was regarding, and the name that was supposed to be unmasked through that process. So it's probably a goldmine of information.
Well, yeah, if it's a summation
of
what Ms. Rice took away, what she saw, if there's a summation, I'm just not sure, because I don't know any of this. I don't know what they do, what they're required to do. But if they are required, as you say, to keep a pretty detailed log about whatever happened, you're right, you subpoena that, and then you can figure out how often she was over there, what she saw, why I don't know whether they have to give a reason. Do they have to give a reason why they want to see it, a White House national security?
I would imagine not.
No,
I would
they just
imagine
want to
not,
see it.
But
right.
Just have the actual documentation. But I understand, because we've asked, well, what other names, what are the names that have been unmasked? And to find that out probably would be a violation of classified information.
Yeah, they're not going to give it to the press.
People that have, but the people have told us, Right, right. But the people have told us basically that, you know, they're tracking everybody that logs into that system and what's requested, what documents are printed.
Well, there you go.
And as you know, yeah, so I think there's a very careful record. Yep.
All right, Malia. Please keep us posted. A very interesting story. Directly ahead, the